When I was in school, I had a lot.
If you enter for what you get from it, and I enter for what I'll get from it, guess what? Nobody gets anything because we keep taking and taking and taking, and then there's nothing left.
Come to Ephraim's Expressions. My name is Chinaza, and I'm really excited to be here with my brother, Mr. Iketu Godsu. We are both excited to have you here with us. This platform is a platform where we will discuss about our past experiences, conversations we've both had in the past, and life in general. This is a platform that is going to benefit you and is going to help you grow as a person, especially if you're a young. So, Bro Ike, we've had so many conversations in the past. And growing as a young person, I've always looked up to you to help me in certain areas of my life. My academics, you've helped me grow as a person. You've helped me, know what to do at the right time in terms of setting my life on a course. So I'm going to ask you some questions that we've discussed before, but I know somebody out there, a young person out there will benefit from. Maybe someone that doesn't even have an elder brother or an sibling. It could be a female as well. I'm just going to ask this question so that they can get something, so that they can learn from it, and so that they can grow as a person. What do you think are the biggest challenge facing young people today? I know this is something we've spoken about in the past, but I would like you to share more about it.
Yeah, I think in looking at the question of the challenges of young people, and the biggest one, I would like to draw from my own experience. Growing up, which is one of the reasons I guess I was able to guide you also. Growing up, I struggled a lot with that question around what am I going to do with my life, what direction I wanted my life to follow. And I think that question stayed with me for a very long time. And some other people encounter that question from the perspective of, oh, what is my purpose and things like that. But it's really generally about meaning and where to go with your life. And for me personally, growing up, it occupied me for a very long time. And I think looking back, one of the reasons we struggle with that question about what to do with our life is because whenever we think about it from the perspective of me, myself, and I. Naturally, as human beings, we always think about ourselves. So when we're thinking of the question of purpose, even though we think about purpose, we still are thinking about ourselves. I guess what I've learned over the years is to look at it differently, because I came to understand that my purpose is not about me, but rather it's about what I am supposed to do with others. You see, I learned from someone, he says that our primary purpose is twofold. One is upward and one is sideways. The upward one is to please God, and the sideways one is to serve other people. And so I like to look at the question of purpose like this. I say our purpose as human beings is to please God by serving other people. So one of the things he helped me do was to remove my concentration from myself and then ask the question, how do I serve other people? So that's really it. The moment you change it from thinking about you and start thinking about how do I serve other people, I think it removes it from your head and puts it a bit out there and changes your perspective that it's really not about you and the focus shouldn't be on you, it should be on others.
So what I've been able to get from what you said is our purpose is not about us, it's about people. And therefore we need to know that our purpose is in twofold, right? With God and with men, with people.
Interesting thing is this. Usually, apart from thinking about ourselves, one of the things also we try to do is please other people. But we're not supposed to please other people. We're supposed to serve them. It's God we're supposed to please. That's why sometimes in the process of serving other people, some other people might not be pleased with what you're doing. So, but if you try to please human beings, you will never amount to anything because you become a people pleaser and you're not going to be serving the people. So that's why that is fundamentally different. Please God, serve other people.
But don't you think it's difficult for people to, take what you've just said to serve other people? How can you simplify this? What do you mean by serving other people when it has to do with purpose?
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing. It's always difficult because as human beings, because it's natural for us to think about ourselves. So whenever we go into every interaction, we are thinking about what we will get out of that interaction. And that's where it becomes a challenge. And I think that's why it was set up this way. But if you really look at it critically, there's over 7 billion people in this world. You are just one. Don't you think that others is bigger than just that one? You have a lot to focus on. And what do we mean by serving? And one thing you realize is that human beings were not meant to be alone. It says it's not good for man to be alone. So humans are supposed to be social beings. You are supposed to interact. So the first things you can do actually in serving other people is make yourself available for interaction. Connect with other people. And when we talk about connection, it's important to understand this. The only way you can properly connect with someone is it's a process of trying to understand the person. So your goal going into that interaction would be to understand. Because remember, we have all our histories. You come from a family, I come from a family. Even within the same family, as me and you, we are siblings, but the way we process information is different. So if I'm going to be able to connect with you properly, I must understand your perspective, where you're coming from. And it's only based on us trying to understand each other that we can actually create room for this situation whereby we can create what we call synergy. It's that situation whereby 1 + 1 is not 2. When they say 2 heads are better than 1, sometimes people say 2 good heads are better than 1. That's really what it is about. You on your own, you probably can do a lot. But when you interact with someone else, more can come out of that. And so when you focus on serving somebody, at the minimum, let's look at it this way. When you serve another person, when you seek to connect, there's nothing as sweet as you interacting with someone who deals with you from a place of understanding. Human beings absolutely love that. They want, because the way you deal with me when you understand me means that even at my worst, you know me well enough to know what it is that is driving this me at my worst, and then you can actually help me. So, but if you do not understand me, you might misunderstand a lot of the things I do. So this basic connection with people is so critical, but don't enter it with the mindset, because usually what happens, guess what happens? I want to enter into a relationship with somebody, I want to be friends with somebody because maybe the person is for what I will get from it. And here's the problem. If you enter for what you will get from it,
always thinking about me, selfish reasons.
Exactly. So if you enter for what you will get from it, and I enter for what I will get from it, guess what? Nobody gets anything, because we keep taking and then there's nothing left. So it doesn't produce more. But if I enter to serve you, to get to understand you, and you enter to get to understand me, guess it will create absolute magic. It will create this kind of scenario whereby I feel seen and you feel seen. So guess what it will create? It will create more. But when you enter to take and the other person enters to take, guess what? At some point there will be nothing to take any longer, and then it will become empty.
The people part is really important, to know that why did God not create just one person to even start with? We need each other,
Exactly.
we need people. And I think a lot of people need to come out from this, oh, me, it's all about me,
To
me.
that point you're saying, I think it's also important that people understand this. This thing where they say that we're talking about here, where you connect with people, is actually to your own advantage.
Yeah.
It's actually, eventually, at the beginning, it doesn't look like it's to your own advantage, but it's actually to your own advantage. Because oftentimes, when you, like I said, when you go into it and then you take and take and take, eventually you run out of what to take. There will be nothing any longer to take. And then you end up with broken humanity, broken relationships.
Yeah.
So if you do not plant, it's really this analogy of planting and then a harvest. If you have just one little corn, you have two choices. Obviously, if you're hungry, you could eat it all, or you could plant it and it creates a harvest later. So when you go into a relationship with that mindset that I want to understand this person because I want to really get more out of it, then it creates this opportunity for growth. And that's really what, for both parties to actually grow. And that's what actually drives us even to the next level of that interaction.
True. I was even having this conversation with myself like a few days ago, but now it has to do with somebody that is supposed to be a friend, but I'm not really seeing where the relationship is heading to. Like the person is like, oh, you're my friend, but I can't really see the connection there. So I was like, I need to speak to this person. Sometimes we have to do these things intentionally as well. We have to do them intentionally. So I think it's something everybody should take note of. And I think it starts by, changing your mindset, because you cannot just say, okay, I'm going to start serving people when you've not really worked on your mind, what your beliefs are. So it's something people should actually look into. And how can young people prepare themselves for the future? When I was in school, I I had a lot in my mind. I was like, first of all, I had a goal, which was my academic goal. I wanted to do well in school. But then I did not see that vision. I didn't see it coming to pass because a lot was going on at the time with my mind. That's why I spoke about the mindset, because a lot was going on with my mindset. I needed to reframe it, and you actually helped me with that. So how can young people prepare themselves for the future? What can they do? How can they plan towards their future?
I think the question of the future really is, first, things are created twice. All things are created twice. Oftentimes, I like to say that you must start with where you're going. The question of the future, or what kind of a future you want, is something you have to decide. But what I found is when I was much younger, I used to think about, where do I go with my life again, coming back to that question. And the reality of it is this: you cannot dream about the future you've never seen. And what do I mean by that? Oftentimes, the biggest challenge is awareness. When you don't know what is possible, when you are not aware about what is possible, you can't think of a future beyond your level of awareness. So I think personally for me, I like to bring it back to myself. The way I see it is this: if you want a future, you have to specify what that future you want looks like. Because let's say someone is in school, you might not know what you do with your life when you become an adult, but you're a teenager or something like that. You're in school. Why not start from there? Because one of the major benefits I see to the school system that I take from the school system is that it gives us opportunity to set goals.
Yeah.
For every semester or every term you come into, usually it's 3 to 4 months. So you can sit at the beginning of it and say, I want to achieve this at the end of that 4 months. That's a future. 4 months is in the future. And
so they need to see it first. They need to be able to see it first.
yes, you have to decide what it is you want. And that's why I bring it down to it, because sometimes when you talk about these seeds, it's very abstract. So let's look at someone in school. Look at yourself in school. When you go into a term or a semester, you have 5, 10 subjects. You need to be able to say at the end of it, if you're in the university, you need to be saying, oh, at the end of this semester, I want to get this GPA. Maybe it's 3.5, maybe it's 4. I want to get A, B. Exactly, it's short, but that's why I tell you that the school system actually helps you to be able to do this thing that you will do much later at a more broader scale. But you are a young person, you are in school. Look at every semester. Don't look beyond that for now and say, I want to do well. And you define what well means. You have to be able to define it. Because somebody who wants to, for example, if you're looking at GPA, somebody who wants to get a 2.0 GPA and somebody who wants to get 3 or 4, the things they need to do is quite different. And also it depends also on where you are starting from. Because if you want to make a 4.0 and last semester you made a 1.0 and somebody who made a 3.0, the amount of work you people need to do is different. So you need to assess where you are, your present state. Don't judge yourself. Just say, this is where I am, measure. And then this is where I want to go. What that helps you to do is it shows you the amount of work. Then you have to look at, based on what you have done to be where you are. If you got a 2.0 and you want to get a 4.0, you need to look at how much did I read